Oh wow, it's actually working. Surprised. So this is not, hey guys. Okay, so this is what sorry guys. So this is what I would like to do. I would like this to be on Mansour's page. I would like it to be on Mansour's or on my actual one, my actual personal one. He's not here yet, but I really would like it to be on here. Hey sis, assalamu alaikum. It's working, but I really feel like I want this to be on Mansour's page or on my page, because I know it's like a lot smaller audience for the bookish one that we have, which is I want to. Okay, good. I'm glad he sent you here. And you know what? When he shows up live, I think everyone who is said to send more requests. Okay. Okay. You have no. Sorry, guys. I'm like, how do I add? Okay. Yeah, it's just like a post, and it's like, you know what it is, guys. It's ridiculous. Mansour is Gaza News Live. Why is that not showing up? Did he get a thing where no one could, if they weren't following him already, then they can't join? Because when I try to request him, it's not, when I try to request him, I can't even send him one. So I think they restricted his account before, which means, okay, this is what it means I have to do, guys. I think I have to go out. Yeah, they notified that I can't go live. There he is. Okay, I'm trying to add you. Go live. Restricted your access. So when I was typing your name in, Mansour, you wouldn't even show up on here. So I'm glad I just saw you in the comments. Yes, you're here. I just sent you the
There we go.
I'm so sorry. I was like, you don't have time for this, Mansour. I apologize.
No. Thank you, Amerie, for making the time and providing a platform to speak about this.
Well,
hello.
Hey everybody. Well, everyone really, like most everyone just like jumped in here, and I think now that you're on, it's good. It'll give them a chance, because when I came in, it was hard to add you. So that's
No, it's all right. It's all right. Here we you know, where there's a will, there's a way. So thank you very much for making this happen, Amerie.
so thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. I appreciate everything that you're doing. And like someone said, echoing what they just said, I'm so glad that you're okay. First of all, it's very dangerous. You know, you're putting yourself out there. So many people are just in danger every second, every minute. And there are, I know it sounds silly, but there are so many people around the world where we are checking in with you guys, making sure everybody's okay, checking in to see if there was a post. I feel like I think I can speak for a lot of us in saying that we feel like we have a lot of family out there now, where it's like personal. You know, when you're showing stuff, we feel like we're FaceTiming with our friends and they're going through something really harrowing. And so we feel like we're with you.
You know what? These passports, nationalities, our genders, our skin colors, our different ways of thinking, etc. You know, these differences only can make us stronger, because what unites us is something bigger, something with a higher morality, something that embodies what we are as humans. So yeah, I mean, definitely what has happened has brought us all closer together, and you know, where yes, what is happening here is tough, it is challenging, But this is how change happens. Change doesn't come with ease. um, I'm sure, Amory, I mean, in your career, in order to reach where you are right now, it wasn't easy, right? For a
Yeah, I had to stomp on a
bodybuilder.
lot of people. I had to stomp on a lot of people, Mansour. I had to step on a lot of little people. No, I'm kidding. No, it wasn't like that at all. But yeah, but that's, I mean, let's be real, Mansour. Let's be for real. What you're going through right now is not comparable to any kind of on my career journey. It's this is like real life. I mean, that stuff is real life too. But what you guys are going through, and I feel like what we're witnessing is like fundamental, what's really important in life, real change, real sacrifice. um I always believe God does have, God shows us, so Allah shows us the way. Whatever we're going through, it's not easy, but change happens. And no matter what, it's like one of those Christian sayings that no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Anything that the enemy tries to do, anything that's going to be trying to tear people apart, it will always work against. And so I don't know. I have to say it does make anything else pale in comparison. Any achievements, any accomplishments, any hardships, when you really see what is really real, and what
Yeah,
you're doing is really
yeah.
real.
No, no. I mean, I didn't. I mean, I just tried to give an example of that. In order for a change to happen, there has to be some kind of challenge or some kind of effort, right? Some kind of change doesn't come with ease. And yes, I'm not trying to belittle what we are going through here. It's tough. It's tough. There is no security. There is little sustenance. There is a lot of different challenges. But but I try to see the positive in things, right? I try to see that okay, God, like you said, God has a plan for everything, and I truly believe that God has a bigger plan for Palestine. God has a bigger plan for all free people of this world. I mean, we've all been living under the matrix for decades, it seems, and we were now all forced to take the red pill. And we thought that we were living under values that we were being taught day and night about democracy, human rights, etc. But I think now it's very clear to the whole world that with what has happened here in Gaza and the reaction of some of the superpowers around the world, that anyone who tries to ask for freedom, anyone who tries to say no to the big guy, they're going to face consequences. And but the difference now is that the world has woken up. The difference now is that social media through its different platforms has wakened people up. The difference now is that um, Gaza and Palestine are everywhere. They are all over, in countries all around the world, in cities all around the world. Demonstrations are happening. Lobbying is happening against governments.
Hmm.
Boycotting major Zionist corporations, right? Like this is this is this is something that no one expected. No one expected. And there is in the Quran a verse that says وَيَمْكُرُونَ وَيَمْكُرُ اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ, that they plan and devise and try to come up with all of these evil plans, but God is overseeing them and He is the best of planners.
Mm.
So you know what? We're all part of God's plans at the end of the day. Our role, what we will be asked about on the day of judgment is what did Mansour do? What did Amerie do? What did uh, our listeners here, each one of us, what did you do when people in other parts of the world faced adversity? What did you do when you saw injustice happening in front of you? And what did you act to try to change it? We are not asked for results. We are asked for actions. So and one of the best forms of standing up to someone that is doing something wrong is through the word of mouth, is through the media, it's through what you are doing right now. So right now, I mean, you are putting your, like, using your platform, using your voice, you are putting yourself into a lot of challenges that might come up, right? Because you are a very famous figure, especially in the United States and around the world. So you, I'm here in Gaza. I can say whatever I want. Like no one can do anything to me at the end of the day. Like the most they can do is just send a drone at me, right? But you're like sacrificing a lot, and I hope that your career grows exponentially, right? And I hope that you continue to use your voice to say what is right. But honestly, all of you are so brave to continue doing what you are doing out there. So thank you again for everything.
I mean, again, I will say thank you because again, there are a lot of people who are afraid to speak sometimes. I do say my mind. If anything, I have to hold myself back. Even now, I will type. I type and I think because sometimes I really just want to say something, but I feel like either it's too harsh or it's not the right time. And I do think that you're right when it comes to the world awakening. I mean, my cousin was telling me like how she feels like growing up as even a little kid, whatever they would buy her dad is an imam, and she would pick up stuff and they'd be like, wait, no, he's like, you can't buy that, but they would have to whisper it, that brand supports Israel, but it was a whisper. And now she's like, see, what did I tell you guys? She's like, I'm not crazy. So she appreciates that. I think that even over time, even a couple of years ago, you began to see in the Western media, and I hesitate to make it seem as if I don't like to center the Western media. I feel like so many of us do. It's almost as if everything can be happening. 7 billion people in the world can be saying something. But if that 1 billion, or if the leadership of the nation of those 1 billion people don't say it, it's as if nothing counts, as if the world isn't paying attention, but the world is paying attention. And I think part of what we see now and what the global South has seen, what people across the United States have seen, especially people of color around the world, certainly Black people around the world, is that who cares? I mean, we're going to have to know, we do have to care to an extent because we have to push the media to show balanced news. But at the same time, you do have to understand there are biases that are inherent and they're going to be there. You cannot make it your burden to try to convince your humanity to the same people over and over again. You must understand that there is a limit, and maybe they will come around. Maybe they will come around eventually. But we have to also, I think, for ourselves and I speak pretty much for like the other 7 billion people on the planet, we have to know that we don't need the West, white people basically, to recognize our humanity, because we do go through it so many places around the world, a little all the time. And Palestine is going through now. You have certain police violence and violence in the United States, all around the world, those who have been colonized. It's important though to push, and I don't say that that's not important, but it's just that I think for our own mental health, you know what I mean? We've got to make sure that we don't live our lives trying to convince someone else that we're human too. You know what I mean? Especially when 7 billion other people on the planet already know this. That's my point. I wanted to ask you too. I know you mentioned, I've heard you use that analogy about, people giving birth. And it's a tribulation. It's hard, but then at the end of the day, you have this beautiful baby, and this is part of what will come, for justice, for freedom, and all of that. And are you still next to that hospital, next to the maternity ward right now? Is that where you are? When you say where you are you talking about a tent?
That's the maternity ward,
Mm-hmm.
and this is my tent.
Mm.
Yeah.
What is the daily life like? Because I think some people are thinking people are intense. They're hearing about kids who don't have clothes and are cold. I don't think people truly understand what the living circumstances are, like what people are really, like what their real life is. Because we've seen so many videos of when things are happening and it's like action and it's just all this stuff, but we're not seeing just what it takes to get up, get water, get some food. The kids are colder. The kids need blankets, like things like that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. The real heroes is the mother caring for her kids out there in the tent or outside there in the refugee schools. That's the real hero. That's the person that multiply that by hundreds of thousands of mothers every day, waking up, caring for one thing. How am I going to take care of my kids today? How am I going to ensure that they have enough food, they have clean water, that I'm able to bathe them? If I have a baby, I have to change their diapers. I have to provide formula for them. I have to ensure that they're safe, right? So, but honestly, Amory, if I try to logically explain to you how things work here, I'm gonna fail because it shouldn't. Any nation that goes through what we're going through now, after 97 days, this society should have collapsed a long time ago. So the only reasoning, the only explanation I can give you is that of something that is unseen, that is something that you can't touch, that it's peace and tranquility that has been brought down to us by God. That's the only thing. Because honestly, the people here, the regular civilian, the children, the women, the elderly, the sick, they should be they should have gone crazy after all of these 3 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you see in their eyes so much patience, so much steadfastness. They're the ones that keep you going every day, right? So a lot of these families right now, every day they wake up, they go to pray their morning prayers.
Mm-hmm.
The women, for example, will have some flour available. Together with her kids, they'll start baking the bread. Many of them have these clay ovens or these battery electric ovens. The men would go out trying to either find some aid, try to go to the UN warehouses or go to some of the charities to see if there's food available, etc. Some of them, for example, have like a donkey cart or a horse cart, and they'll work on it. They'll transport people back and forth. Some people volunteer in the hospital, volunteer in the schools, volunteer in the media. Uh, this is right now the first call of the prayer for the sunrise, for the Fajr prayer, the dawn prayer.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like the first prayer. This is a reminder for the prayer for people to wake up, and then half an hour later we go and pray our prayer in congregation. So the prayer goes like this: Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. God is great, Allah is greatest, Allah is greatest. That Allah is greater than everything you are doing right now. You know, be prepared to leave everything you have and go and meet God. Be in connection with God. And then it says, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. I bear witness that there is no God worthy of worship but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I bear witness that Prophet Muhammad is his slave and final prophet and messenger of Allah. And then it says, Hayya ala salah. Come to prayer. Come to prayer. Hayya ala al-falah. Come to the success in this life and the hereafter. Come to the success in this life and hereafter. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allah is greatest, Allah is greatest. La ilaha illallah. There is no God but Allah. This is the call of prayer for the Muslims that we hear 5 times a day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
Just a translation of what you heard right now.
I love that. I
Um,
have I have it on my phone, uh, and it's like I just love it. I just think it's just so beautiful. But I don't. I only make my 5 prayers very rarely. I have to do better.
MashaAllah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you like subhanallah yani Sister Amerie. Uh, you know what? We only ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala one thing, to accept our actions. Because intention is very important, sister. Intention is very, it's crucial. The first hadith in all the different books of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam always talks about intention. Because without the right intention, anything that we do here may not be accepted on the day of judgment. So
Mm.
it's very important to always try to purify our intentions at the start of the day. Why am I doing this work? Why am I performing what I perform? Why am I going to work? Why am I caring for my kids? Why am I doing what I'm doing here in Gaza? Why are you doing this live with Amerie, right? Is it to be famous? Okay, great. You're famous now. you got what you want. Um, you know, no, I'm doing this for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for His pleasure, because He asked me that when I see someone weak, to go and help him against the oppressor. I will be asked on the day of judgment, why Mansour didn't you do that, right? So we always need to clarify our intention. And the second thing we need to understand is that God doesn't need us. God doesn't need us to be for the success of His plans, right? His plans will happen. Fate, what has been written, will happen. The question is, are we going to be utilized in these plans, or are we going to be displaced and be wasting our time in a lot of things that don't add value to humanity, don't add value to a lot of things, you know? So I think these are two important points as well to talk about. Back to you, Amory.
No, I think the faith, and that's another thing that I notice about you too, is that you are so steadfast and very faithful. And I think that it's the strength, the faith uh, is so strong with the Palestinians. And people all around the world can have a lot of faith, but faith is a lot easier when you're not tested, because it's only when you're tested when you have to rely entirely on your faith. You know, you don't really have anything else to definitely get you through when you're going through really, really, really hard times. And of course, the Palestinians have been going through really, really hard times for over 75 years, and so it's like this very, very strong, unbreakable bond with Allah. And I think that the world sees that. We've always seen that. And I think it's, made the Ummah stronger in general, and just also made people feel like, hey, I want to, I'm interested, let me know more. I've seen so many times, and my cousin was getting it a lot. Like I said, my cousin she's been Muslim like all her life. And, again, my uncle's an imam. Like so many DMs, like that kind of faith, Palestinian faith, I need that. Like, what is that? And how do I get it in my life? We're talking about that. And it sounds so maybe out of place, but I think you understand what I mean. Going back to, like, Allah always has a plan. There's always many layers of reasoning that, even if we don't understand, to make things come to pass and to make the world see certain things. And without, I know we've been talking about it. Well, I guess everybody's probably like fine with it. But, I was just going to just say, sometimes, there's always a plan, and ultimately is to bring everybody back to God. And so things will happen in the world, but that is one of the things that is, humans can't necessarily control that. Like, God is in control. Yeah. But at the same time, I also feel like it's not fair that you guys are going through so much right now, so that people can come to God. Do you know what I mean? I feel like there's on a human level, it feels like such an injustice. But if you take it to a spiritual level, and if we remember that this is not all that there is, then we can maybe get a hint of what Allah knows. You know what I mean? Because other than that, it's just completely unfathomable for us. Completely unfathomable. Someone said to Mansour, please don't give away your location. And I should have not asked you that. So maybe that is something not to talk about next time. I see you've mentioned that in different
It's
things.
okay. No, it's okay. It's okay.
Stop
This is
showing
based.
us that.
No. Just relax, relax. This area here. See, this is Al Jazeera's tent. These are tents for different media personnel, right? And this area here is where the cameras are set up during the day, and where I do a lot of my lives with different TV stations. And this is a public space. Everyone in the world knows media in the south, in Gaza Strip, in Khan Yunis, are located here in Nasser Hospital. So I've been here for over 90 days now. So I didn't. There's no hiding the fact, right? And me
Right.
having a phone on me right now with a SIM
Yeah.
card in this location, it makes whoever wants to target Mansour can target Mansour if they want.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not trying to make things not feel important or not feel. But no, I'm explaining to you that it's okay. It's all right. Thank you
Okay.
for worrying about
Yeah,
me,
because
but
we
this
are
is a
all like,
public.
everyone's like,
Thank you. Yeah,
stop
no,
it.
thank you.
But you're
No, no
right. They
problem.
do, you know, they have been targeting. They do know everyone's number. People do get those phone calls. We've seen that. There's been so much that goes out that's put in the open. But I feel like they're being taken to task now. Speaking of which, of course, we had the first day, one of two, in which South Africa laid its case very well, I may add. Is anyone really paying?
Amerie, can you hear
I
me?
can hear you.
Amerie?
I've got you.
Okay.
I could hear you now. I can't.
No, no, I
Oh,
muted myself. Yeah, back to
okay.
you.
Oh, I was saying, how is anyone following? Am I muted right now? Can you hear me? Oh, okay. I was saying, is anyone really following that at all? Is anyone following? Um, Everyone knows that
Yeah,
South Africa is talking today, but is it really? Does anyone care? Like, there's so much going on, and there's so much. You guys have been waiting so much for the international community to step up. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if everyone's like, whatever, just call me when something's changed.
yeah, I see what you're saying, but I think it's important. It's important because it like puts the case in summary, in a summarized manner in
Mm-hmm.
English in front
Mm-hmm.
of the whole world. Um, for those who are even neutral to listen and from people with different skin colors from different backgrounds in an international court, right? So the media that are putting focus on this case definitely helps what is happening here. However, it's very important to note several things. Number one, even if this court eventually rules for Israel for an immediate ceasefire or that Israel are doing something wrong here, their rulings cannot be enforced on the UN or the Security Council or
Right.
on or like it's just going to be a verdict done by the court. So it's basic. So that's number one. Number two, these proceedings will take months. These proceedings is not going to be like, oh, okay, in a week they're going to come up with a judgment. No, this will take a long time. But again, this is important because it's very symbolic, right? It's very symbolic, and it shows the regular. It shows a lot of people out there who still trust the United Nations and their system and the political system in the world. It brings light to what the Zionist regime has done here against the Palestinians. Uh, in my opinion, let's take it step by step.
Yep.
Let's not be very quick to say, "Oh, this is the best thing ever," or to say this is not going anywhere. Let's take it step by step. The determining factor, and I repeat this every time, is the way the system is made in this world is that it rules for that who is stronger, not for that who is right, for that who who is able to remain steadfast, for that who maintains their values and their morals despite anything you put against them, right? So that's why it's so important to ensure that the Palestinian civilians here remain steadfast on their land. Right
Yes. I mean,
now,
people.
right now, the other side lost the battle on the ground here. They lost in Gaza. They withdrawn from the north. They're withdrawing from the middle region, and they can't come close to us here for 300 meters for the last 25 days. They've lost. They have 20,000 disabled, as per Idiot Ahranot. 20,000 disabled soldiers. They have thousands that have been killed. They've killed their own hostages. They failed to dismantle the H group. They failed. They failed. They lost the hearts of the world. They lost the media war. They lost the political support of dozens of nations from around the world. So it's a matter of being patient, a matter of being steadfast. And when the superpowers see that, okay, our interests don't lie anymore in supporting the Zionist regime, then they will say, okay, I think we need to talk with the Palestinians. The Israelis are not going to be a long-term solution to this region, right?
That's, I
So
totally agree.
but
I totally, yes, I totally agree. I think the thing about it, I think that, which I think people who haven't looked at it is that, looked at it before, just in general, what Israel stands for, where it's the place that it's held, like geopolitically. It is like literally, like everyone's like, why is it so hard? I mean, literally, it's like it's the one of the last taboos. So it was very, the only way, the only way that state would be able to topple would, it would have to topple itself. I always believe that, because if anyone else did it, it would be those monsters, those barbarians, all those things, those very racist tropes. They did it. They would have to topple, destroy themselves, like what is it, the inner explosion, right? They have to like self-combust. And I feel like we've been seeing that from this angle. Like, you're right, from the political angle, from the PR angle. Now we're talking about, you know, when they've always wanted to like outlaw BDS, we're seeing it from that point of view. So from every facet, we're seeing destruction, but it's happening on their own. It did make me wonder if maybe that's, you know, so many people have been like, where is everyone coming in? Why isn't, I mean, I was like, Thanos, you know, Magneto, I want anyone to come in. I don't care who they are. I want them to come in. But then I started thinking, that's what we want on a human level. And I was like, I don't think Allah wants that though right now. Whatever's happening is because it must be done by himself. You know what I mean? So we
100%. And there
have
are
to
so
stay
many
home.
signs. There are so many signs that you are right. Historically, civilizations collapsed from within, not due to external factors.
Mm-hmm.
They collapse once they lose their moral compass, once they lose the values that they started their civilization on.
Yeah.
I don't know what their values were because it started with massacres to the Palestinian people. But right now, the indications are as following: 500,000 Israelis have left Israel. They don't want to come back. The settlers around Gaza, even with $1 million bribe, $270,000 bribe, and a house and a car, no one is willing to come back. While the Palestinian is willing to live on his or her tent in the north after
Yeah.
96 days. 700,000 Palestinians hello, still want to want to remain. Look at how many soldiers are refusing to go back to the army. Look at how many Israelis are not willing to enlist to train. Look at the internal conflict between the generals, the army, and the politicians, and Netanyahu. So and all of the settlers are armed. Huh? They all have pistols, Kalashnikovs, machine guns. You're talking about armed guerrillas, right? And they differ in opinion so much, and some of them they actually curse each other to hell. So if I think what I think is going to happen, I think that Israel will internally combust, like you said, and because uh, they have lost so much and they have exposed their true face to the world.
Mm-hmm.
And once the US stops providing the tax dollar aid to the Israelis, that's it, game over from a financial perspective, and game over from any kind of support from anyone else in the world. No one will have sympathy or empathy anymore to the Israelis. And I feel bad for them because there are some good people out there. Some people who have no interest in this war, some people who have who are like questioning what the hell are they doing on this land right now.
Well, you know, speaking of which, because when I think about those people and I think about, you know, they always want to talk about the day after. And I hear what you're saying about this, you know, this self combustion. What is your hope for the future? Because these Israelis that you're like, some of them don't want this. Are we saying that the day after, ultimately the year after, are we talking about a single state where, because they would, if they really feel that way, they'd be like, hey, single state called Palestine again, and I want to live here with equal rights, and I want to stay and live in this kind of place, or do you hope for this two-state solution? What is your hope for the Palestinians?
the problem is that that's why I strongly ask people to learn more about Zionism. The problem with Zionism is that they see themselves as superior to all other mankind. They believe that they are the chosen ones, similar to what the evangelicals preach, right? They believe in the end time scenario and all of that, and that Israel has to exist and has to do all that they do so that the so that the Christ will come at the end. So they have like ideological beliefs that Israel needs to exist from the Nile River to the Euphrates River. And that's what the Israeli flag represents. It represents the Nile River and it represents the Euphrates River. That's what they believe their land is. So Israel, the problem is with the mindset of the Zionists. Okay, Muslims, Christians, Jews lived together for 1400 years in Jerusalem, in Palestine. Whenever Jews were persecuted in Europe, they flew. They came to the Muslim countries. They came to the Arab countries. That's where they sought refuge. So, so the problem is with the Zionist mentality. They're trying to paint it in a PR solution that, oh, okay, we are okay with the two-state solution, but you can't be a Zionist and advocate for a two-state solution because you want everything. You want everything. When they go and they vacation in Egypt or they vacation in Jordan, or when they talk to friends in Iraq or in Lebanon, they tell them this is our land. We're going to take it from you. So so this is the mentality that you're dealing with. So I don't see any future for a two-state solution given that mentality.
Right, right. I agree with you, by the way. I do. Um, you're always so full of hope. That's what I love too. And I think you give us hope too. I think what it is from the outside is that, I only can speak for myself. You have a lot of hope. You're going through things. There are so many of us who have hope too that are like, it's already there. I mean, I think like on week 1, I was like, Israel already lost. They just don't know it yet. Israel already lost. They just don't know it yet. But I also understand, well, it's very rich for me to say that or to look at things geopolitically or to look at it like this when I'm not literally looking over my head, wondering like about my child. You know what I mean? So it's just like you say these things, but you also feel like a little too privileged to even be having any kind of hope this way or that way because it's not you and your body on the line. But it's so wonderful and so inspirational. Like I told you this before so many times, to see you and your hope, your faith. And I mean, I don't just say you're taking everything in stride, Mansour, but I think you are spot on with what's going on. And I think you're seeing it on all happening, all unfolding. And I agree with you like 110% regarding all of that. Also, what someone wanted to say too, they wanted to ask, we've seen all the humanitarian work you've been doing. You had the 100 chiefs, you have the 500 plus orphans, but some people were like, I don't know where to go though, because I went to his link, it wasn't on there. One, can you share with us the humanitarian work that you're doing and how we can help? And then also how people can know like who to trust or, a little direction. A lot of people were asking for that regarding donations.
Yeah. First of all, Amerie, you're, mashallah, you're a very smart woman. Like from our previous conversations and the way you're, you know, I commend you for the way you think and how you're, mashallah. Yani, thank you very much for this opportunity with you. Um, Unfortunately, whenever money comes into play, it becomes things become very delicate, and things you have to be very, very, very careful. I'm not a journalist. I'm not a reporter. I have an engineering degree. I have an MBA degree from Canadian universities. I've worked for 20 years in big companies, consulting, public sector, etc. I only started to do media work on a voluntary basis 3 months ago because I saw that there was not a lot of people talking in English about what was happening here in Gaza from Gaza. So that's when I started to appear on different TV stations, and then slowly I got involved in social media. And I saw so many people asking the same question: "We want to donate. We want to donate. We want to donate." I'm like, okay, donate to these organizations. They're like, yeah, but these organizations aren't able to get in. Like our donations are being wasted at the Rafah border or in the bank accounts, or we've been scammed online by so many people. So I'm like, okay, let's try to help. You know, let's maybe media isn't the only thing. Let's try to do some work here on the ground. So I've been living here for 2 years. I'm originally from Jerusalem, and I have a lot of contacts. And I basically partnered with a few local organizations here. I sat with some decision makers, and we're like, okay, look, I can try to get some help, but I need to oversee everything from A to Z. And we need to be very transparent and open and produce daily videos about updates to what's happening to the public. Because, yes, it's difficult because we are at war and everywhere we go is dangerous, but we need to be as transparent as possible with everyone, right? So, Alhamdulillah, we've been doing a lot of work for the last 2.5 months, 2 months, mostly focused on helping the displaced civilians here. We provide them with different kinds of food, shelter. At one time we were focused a lot on providing baby care stuff, female hygiene products. Um, we were providing a lot of cash donations to those who have been injured, to those who need medical support, medical assistance. Um, and a lot of people, for example, asking about orphans. I'm like, let's wait until the war ends and then we can, restart orphans. But they're like, no, we want to sponsor orphans. So we were able to partner a few people, a few donors with some orphans. And then I was like, you know what? Let's do this. Let's give me all the database. I collected a database of over 500 orphans here, people who have lost children who have lost their fathers over the last 3 years due to the war. And I'm like, okay, let's partner up those who want to sponsor with those orphans directly. Give them the mother's number. Let them speak to her directly. Let them meet the children. Let them see what their needs are. Our suggested monthly donation is $100 a month per child. Send it directly to the mom. We don't want anything to do with this. If you need help, I can send you the bank account of a local charity organization here to send the funds to. Mention the name of the mother, mention the name of the child, and we'll get the money to her, right?
So these
So
are,
I'm
excuse me for interrupting. So this would be basically, you're sending, someone's coordinating so that when we donate, we would be donating directly to the family and their bank account directly.
So right now the banks are closed.
All right.
Except for one bank, and this bank is somewhere very remote. Uh, what I'm saying is that we have an administrator that is now coordinating this work, and I provided a WhatsApp number that you can send her a message, and she's gonna send you like 10 different orphans that you can select from, right? And then you can contact directly the mother and understand that what her needs are, have a connection with the child, with the orphan, with the child. If she provides you a way to send her the funds directly, please do so, right? If she's not able to because of the war, we're in war, like we are in a financial war as well. Like we are surrounded in so many different ways, right? Then we provide the opportunity for you to send the money to a charity here, a local charity that I work with, under the name of that mother and orphan, and we will give her the cash from us here, right? Again, we're just a facilitator, we're just a middleman trying to help connect people who want to help. So we used to provide a lot of beef donations, fresh beef donations, but we ended up buying all the cows in Gaza. So all the cows left are only the small cows and the very old cows. So right now we moved to sheep. So we're providing fresh lamb. So right now we had around 75 different lambs over the last 5 days, and we're aiming for 100 plus. So the more sheep we can get our hands on, we'll buy them. We'll make sure that people are fed nutritious food, right? So the flour bags, right? Bread here is now the main ingredient, the main component, the main fuel. So we try to provide flour to those who can bake. We're trying to facilitate here a temporary bakery to ensure that we provide bread to those who cannot bake. And again, this is it's a team's effort, and it's because unfortunately the NGOs, the charity organizations here aren't able to function like before because the people working with them are themselves now in need.
Yeah.
So their families are in need. They are in need,
Yeah.
right? So it's a very complex situation. And
And
like I said, like this way, 300 meters, there's a street fight happening right now, like RPGs and tanks. So we have to understand that we're we're trying to do our best to keep the people here steadfast, right?
we saw a few people. I'm sorry to interrupt. Just wanted to flag something for you, so you can share it with whoever's going to take care of the admin stuff. Don't want to bog you down with that, but can you tell them that they're saying your WhatsApp number in the bio is not working? They've been trying that a bit, and then they that's not working. But they also wanted to ask you too. Well, what about the orphans who like have no guardians? Is there any way that they can help those kids at the moment? I imagine
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
hard.
So let's say a child lost his mother and father, then he would have an uncle or an aunt or a cousin that is going to be their guardian. There is no orphanage here in Gaza. It's a shame to the family at large if an orphan exists and they are not taken care of by an extended family member. There is no orphanage here in Gaza. Orphans are taken care of by extended family members. So if there isn't a mother, then there will be another caretaker which we will put you together with. Okay, the WhatsApp number is not working. We've received over 1,200 messages on the WhatsApp number, and so it must be working. But maybe it's just that we haven't reached your message yet. So be patient, but make sure that you have the right number. Make sure that you're using exactly what's written there. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm not sure how I can help with the WhatsApp number.
Also, you guys make sure you're following Mansour's Telegram, because his Telegram is updated very, very quickly. So you can probably have a lot of. I feel like you're probably good at being across the board on your social media, but the Telegram I feel like will help you guys a lot. Stay up to date.
I wasn't on Telegram a week ago, but I had to come on Telegram because there were many fake accounts that came popping up under my name asking for donations.
Wow.
So I had to create a channel on Telegram just so that I can make sure that people had an official account to connect with me. It's not because I want to. Yes, it's good to be on different platforms, but sometimes you have to act just to try to help people, not to get scammed.
Such a shame with the scams. I kept seeing that because people do really want to help, but that is what makes it difficult. I remember you telling someone else, I think it was Amanda Seals actually, to make sure that if you guys want to donate anything, you've heard Mansour speaking now, so you know what's legit. Try to see if there's a way that you can find a person who knows a person or something where it's legitimate before you send anything. But definitely, like, I hate to like for people to not send something that could have helped someone, but just to do a little bit of your due diligence to make sure that it's going to help. Someone mentioned the whole white savior thing. I did hear that. You guys, there are a lot of people who do want to don't who want to support orphans. I know people say sometimes like, oh, it's a white savior thing, but I'm like, y'all, it's like a lot of people get that. I'm a mom, and I've seen so many kids, and I'm like, like I feel like I understand and why Angelina Jolie was trying to adopt everybody, because you just feel like I want to be there to just help in any way I can. What do you do? But I did see someone say in the comments, like, there is an extended network, and like you just said, Mansour, if there's not an orphanage, these kids will be taken care of. But I don't know if Gaza's ever had to deal with so many children without their parents, right? Right? Um, yeah, someone said you can help, but you can't take them. Yeah, I think the best thing would be for you to help and see what's best, what the families want, what's best for the kid. Maybe it's like you're like their aunt and you come through and you just do what you can, or maybe someone's like, yeah, you can adopt. I don't know. I don't know. I think people just lead with their heart often, you know.
Yeah, no, I thank everyone, even those who say, yes, please, I want to adopt a child and take them with me to my home country. I really feel with them, but I want to help them understand the culture here. It's like a very big, like, it's like a very big shame on the family
Wow.
if if there's an orphan that exists and the family doesn't care for them, even more than they care for their own children. Similar to the elders, like I was doing a live earlier on Spaces today, X Spaces for the first time, Twitter, and someone came up to me and she said, "You talk about the children and the orphans. What about the elderly? Who takes care of the old people?" So I tried to explain to her that in our culture, in our religion, the elderly are on our heads. Like the elderly are the most important piece of the family. Without the elderly, we cannot exist. Like our grandparents, our grandmas, they live with us, and they are decision makers. And whenever there's issues between families, they're the ones that get involved. Whenever someone wants to get married, they're the ones that get involved, right? We don't have retirement homes. We don't have like people don't leave their homes when they turn 18, right? So the family structure here is very strong, and the elderly are part of the family. Actually, they're the head of the family. So it's a different system. It's a different culture. It's a our religion directs us very differently.
Yes.
Back
You
to you,
said that I read
Amelia.
that you moved from Canada to back to Palestine because you wanted to make sure, be back home and also to have the support of the culture. Because Western culture is different. How this aside, but how has that been as far as like leaving Calgary, I believe it was, and then returning and raising your kids there?
At the beginning, it wasn't easy because we had lived 5.5, 6 years in Canada. Two of my children were born there. Um, I have five children, by the way. Aisha, she's 16. Fatima, 14. Her birthday was yesterday. Omar, he's 10. Maryam, she's almost 7. And Ibrahim turned 5 last week.
Oh, wow.
So I have 5 kids, and we talk every day. Um, I try to keep in touch with them. I try to ensure that they're well, they're okay in different ways, that they're being brought up properly. But yeah, once we came to Gaza in the beginning, it wasn't very easy because it was sort of a culture shock. Because the living conditions were also difficult. I mean, we only had electricity 8 hours a day. We had very limited goods and services available. Like we were used to Starbucks and fast food and like we were used to living lavishly in the West, right? We used to have these. I used to have this big villa on a half-acre space. I used to have a 2021 Honda Pilot, 8-seater, right? Full options, right? So coming to Gaza, it's like from a dunya perspective, from looking at it from a very limited perspective, why are we here, right? But for me it was important because they had to link back to their heritage. They had to go back to their homeland and see the challenges that our people go through every day. um, we have to go back to our religious and cultural roots because the life outside is it looks beautiful on the outside, but in my opinion it's empty on the inside. It's empty from a lot of things that we are missing, and that's one of the reasons a lot of people go through a lot of mental issues, a lot of psychological issues. It's because the life is full from a materialistic point of view, but it's empty from a spiritual point of view.
Yes, I agree. I think it's, I was talking to my mom. My mom is Korean and comes from a very communal, community culture. Even like whatever you do as a child, even as a grown up, everything is like connected to family. And even though I'm an adult, if she says, no, I don't agree, no, the expectation is that you just don't do it because your parents said no. But Western culture is like, this is my life and this is my, and I agree that in that sense, it's very individualistic and there are some pros, but everyone stands alone. It's almost like everyone's in their own little silo, even within their own families. And so, I mean, I've been thinking about moving, so there's that. But I thought that was really interesting that you had actually moved your whole family and to Pakistan, and I thought that was really great. Oh, sorry. Can you guys hear me? Oh, morning prayers. Should we be quiet?
Allahu Akbar. Yes, yes, it's time for Fajr. لا حول ولا قوة إلا فقد لا إله إلا الله. Amerie, back to you. I
Sorry
have
about
to
that. I
leave
heard him.
in I have to leave in around
I was
10
thinking that.
minutes.
Yes, yes, of course. I'm sorry. I was thinking that was something else because I thought he did the call. I thought he did the call to prayer a little while ago. Did he do it twice?
Yeah. So the first one is to wake people up
Ah,
for tahajjud prayers, for prayers, the prayer of late at night before Fajr, and because that's like one of the times that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala comes to the heavens,
mm-hmm.
and he is closest to us at that time, and he asks us that who is out there, who is ready to supplicate for me, who is ready to ask and I will give him, who is ready to thank me and I will give him more, who is ready to come close to me and I will get closer to him. So it's a time where people wake up and they supplicate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then what you heard right now is the official Fajr prayer. Uh, 20 minutes after this prayer, then the call to actually pray happens. And then we go ahead and we pray.
I love that. See, that's another thing too. I want my son to have that around. I want him to hear the call to prayer and for it to be just like a normal thing. You know what I mean? That's beautiful and important.
Inshallah.
I don't
Inshallah.
want to take up too
Inshallah.
much of your.
Inshallah. Soon. Inshallah. You will pray together with your family in Al Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, together with billions around the world.
I
It's
would
gonna
love
happen. It's
that.
gonna happen soon.
I
It's
already
gonna
have
happen soon.
the
Inshallah.
Al Aqsa. I listen to the different calls to prayers before I pray. So then I like I have there's this one old one like from Medina. There's the Al Aqsa one. So many, and I love to do it while I do the wudu that during that time. Um,
Alhamdulillah.
but I have just loved speaking with you. I love that we're ending the conversation on that note. Bless you. Also, everyone wants you to take care of yourself, Mansour. Everyone's saying that you need to sleep and you don't run yourself ragged. They're very concerned.
Inshallah.
My last
Inshallah.
thing I wanted to ask you was just for those of us who are on the outside, we're protesting, we're making calls to our, congressmen, senators, etc. We're pushing on social media. What can we do? Because I think a lot of people feel like it's not enough, or is it making a difference? What do we need to be doing more?
You are definitely making a difference by what you are doing. Change doesn't happen overnight. Change takes time. And like I said before, we are not asked for results. We are asked to do actions. Results will come,
Mhm.
you know.
Okay.
God has a bigger plan, a plan that we all cannot comprehend. And God loves us more than anything in this world. And He wants what's the best for us. And sometimes, in order for someone to succeed, you have to challenge them. In order for my muscles to grow, I have to challenge them, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to be challenged, wants us to be stronger because what's coming is better, inshallah. I have to excuse myself, Amerie. It was an honor. It was a pleasure talking to
Thank
you and
you.
your audience. I have to go and pray.
Yes.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam. Now you have the option to share the video after
Okay.
it's done. Make sure you tag your original account, which didn't allow you to go
Yes.
live, and tag me as well. Tag us as
Okay.
collaborators. My account, your account, and two other accounts as well.
Will do.
Okay.
Will
Thank you
do.
all. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum
Assalamu
assalam.
alaikum. Thank you. Thank you, Amory. It was an
Bye,
honor. Thank you,
everyone.
everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you.